I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into an amazing book. It is called The Key to Skandos, a magical tale of adventure and love. It is a mesmerizing story written by an awesome author by the name of William Prater. Join us right now as we explore an otherworldly adventure where friendship and destiny collide in a realm ruled by mystical beasts and dark magic. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. William, great to have you on the show today.
All is very well, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell us, what inspired you to create the mythical world of Skandos and its rich lore?
Well, I suppose a number of reasons, but the most important one is that I wanted to write something different and something that I felt that could be enjoyed by all ages, from a smallest of children to the oldest of person. And I'm told by quite a few people that I've pretty well succeeded, so I'm quite pleased with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, is this part of a series? There's more than one book?
It's one book at the moment. Let's put it like that.
Okay, are you thinking about writing a sequel?
Well, I might.
Yeah.
I might.
Okay.
Rather, it depends on quite a few factors, not the least
Yep.
of which my age, which is knocking on a bit, as you can probably see.
Well, you don't show any age in your writing because your writing is energetic. It is filled with love. It is filled with adventure. And this is quite a story you've written. Let's give the folks at home an overview of what the book is about, The Key to Skandos.
Okay. It's a story of love, basically. Two young people, 13 years old, were friends, very good friends from an early age. And the boy received a rather unusual name when he was christened, which turned out to be a family name handed down by generation by generation. And the time was long before the current time, obviously, many, many years ago, probably several hundred years ago. And a very knowledgeable wizard by the name of Zildus schooled two of his distant relatives, a girl by the name of Fula and a boy by the name of Wegler. And Wegler was a very, very well-known wizard in his sphere, which was the eastern part of the country, or raised relatively unknown in the West. And the time came when the king, who was resided in the center of what was known as the Churchill Plain, miles from anywhere, was being subjected to some horrible noises, bangs, crashes, and what have you during the course of the night. And he needed this cacophony of noise and problems to be dispensed with. So he sent for the wizard he'd heard about from the East, who came along duly by royal appointment, of course. And he did a deal with the wizard in return for a big pile of wonderful jewelry and artifacts and the like, and including a chalice, which was known as the Besmer chalice, which was a powerful symbol of togetherness. And indeed, the wizard was duly engaged, and he did the business, and he got rid of all the noise. But these two young people that he schooled, though, didn't get along from the time they qualified as wizard and witch. Just didn't get along at all. And they disturbed things to a shocking degree, hurling thunderbolts at one another at night making a terrible noise and making it an extremely unpleasant place to live. And this is because, say, the king needed to get this stopped by some means or another. So he did a deal with the wizard after a number of consultations. And in return for a huge pile of jewelry, including the Besmer trophy, the Besmer chalice, he did a deal with the wizard, and the wizard duly did his business and got rid of the noise until shortly afterwards, two or three evenings, 2 or 3 nights. There was a terrific storm, blew up, and it disturbed everybody, including the king, who was apoplectic with that annoyance and anger because his sleep was being disturbed again. And the noise was so loud that the witch was woken, and so was the young wizard, the novice wizard. And one thought the other was responsible for the noise and let fly with a thunderbolt or two, and the whole of the country was blown into another dimension. So they've lost contact with everybody. They don't live there anymore. And the story really escalates from then onwards. And after a number of adventures, some good, some bad, the 3 were engaged in a walkabout one afternoon. They were fishing actually on the local river, and the boy of the trio, not the girl or the boy that were friendly, but their friend, went to fish further down the river for pike in a backwater. That left the boy and the girl on their own, 13-year-old children, mind the way. And it wasn't very long before the fishing rods were sitting on their perches, doing what fishing rods do, fishing for fish. And the boy and the girl followed the natures and their instincts into one another's arms and had a practice snog, or 3, or even 4. And the consequence was that they fell deeply in love, even though they were only 13. The other member of the trio, the close friend, he was a bit put out because he was suddenly the odd man out instead of being one of a gang of 3.
Yeah.
He was in isolation, so to speak. And these 2 friends of his came out of school one day and set off without him. Who didn't walk home, set off without him, and took a long path down via the canal, which was a long way to get back to where they lived. And they were followed by their what he thought now was an ex-friend, and they disappeared into some bushes. And then there was a cry for help from the girl, unmistakably the girl. The 3rd member of the trio dashed into the bushes, and there the 2 were entwined, being grasped by some long branches out of the middle of this pile of bushes. And as the 3rd guy rushed to help, the fronds parted and released them. And it was a strange phenomenon, but they tried it a few times to dance on it. But out came the branches, retreat, back went the branches. They experimented for a while, and it was rather an interesting thing. But from there, they started off on the road, on the path back home via the canal. And no sooner had they left the trees and they came across this enormous barrier. Now they fiddled about with this barrier out of curiosity. They know the woods from very young, where they'd often played, and there was no sign of a barrier. Anyway, they accidentally set off an explosion. The barrier shattered. All 3 were thrown into this 3rd dimension. And it was a shocking place to be. The skies were purple. The trees were red, vermilion colour. And a shocking animal was flying through the air like an ancient dragon, roaring and snarling. And it wasn't very long before two of them managed to get back through. They did the trigger was, it put into reverse what they did to get through the barrier. And two of them got back, leaving a girl behind. And they vowed from that point onwards, they would get her back home no matter what.
Yeah.
And if you want to find out a little bit more or a lot more,
you've got to read the book. Yeah, absolutely. It is quite a story. It kind of reminds me of like a Harry Potter type story where you've created a completely different world. Of course, yours deals with ancient times. Tell us if you have envisioned this as a movie, perhaps.
It would make an interesting film. Yes,
it would.
It would. I'd go to see it.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I would too. It's got great characters.
Yeah.
It's got great adventures. It's great settings, flying beasts, sorcerers.
How it all ends up.
Yeah.
It's well worth the read, I can assure you.
Exactly. Well, the journey is worth, the destination is definitely worth the journey. That's for sure. It's very, very well done. Very, very well told. How was it writing this book? Did it just kind of flow? Did it take you years, months, weeks? Tell me a little bit about writing it.
It's one of those books that started writing itself
Mm.
shortly after starting. And the story simply flowed. It was a matter of 5 or 6 weeks, and it was finished.
Amazing.
Apart from a bit of touching up here and there, but the basic story was there. I let my young daughter, who was about 15 at the time, read the first couple of chapters, and she pestered me for the rest of the story. So I said, "Daughter, you're going to have to wait for the book to be published, dear, and then you have to put your hand in your pocket." But
that's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm glad she enjoyed the first couple of chapters. I'm glad she spurred you on to write more. It's an amazing book. It's called The Key to Skandos, a magical tale of adventure and love. It is an absolutely mesmerizing story written by William Prater. And it is a journey, an otherworldly journey where friendship and destiny collide in a realm ruled by mystical beasts and dark magic. An amazing story. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight, William.
It's my pleasure, and good luck to everybody.
Well, I appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
It's nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Great talking to you as well.